I
to
suspect that the podcast may have started.
the Barrel Vision podcast.
Fucking
We're here
hell.
with Christmas spirit, and actually that's it. That's the only thing we're here with.
The Father,
It's
the
just
Son, and the Holy Spirit.
yeah, we're just here with childlike joy in
I
our
don't know
eyes.
about that. I don't know about that.
We're so merry right now.
I don't like the term childlike joy because that implies that
childlike wonder. I think that's the actual saying.
yeah, but it implies that those things are inappropriate for an adult.
No, it implies
true.
that
We should be
children
miserable.
can reach the heights of joy and happiness that adults physically cannot. It's just not possible. Once you grow old enough, you know too much to appreciate and just enjoy things as much as you did when you were a child.
I should point
Like,
out,
it's
everyone,
just
this isn't going to be a happy podcast. This is going to be the most miserable Scrooge fest possible.
Well, yeah,
Obviously, it actually won't be. I don't think, because I want to focus on the Christmas event and I don't know, comments or something.
Like Christmas, it's going to be a mixed bag, which hopefully by the end you remember it as being positive, despite
Hopefully
most
still
of
a
the
gift.
time it's just arguing and getting on each other's nerves.
No, it's not.
And-
you mean Christmas? I thought you meant the
Yeah.
podcast.
No, yeah,
No, the podcast isn't usually an argument. It's just a weekly scheduled ribbing.
of whatever we so desire. And today it's Christmas. Hooray! Well, today's not Christmas. If you're watching
it
this
could
on
be
Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Stop.
But also
Turn it off, go spend time with your family.
And if you don't have family, we are sorry.
We're there.
Yeah, I guess that's what we're for. But unless all your entire family has died in a tragic accident, or you moved on from them because they were toxic in your life, you shouldn't be watching us on Christmas. But any other day is fine and welcome.
Can you imagine losing, like, your whole family dies on Christmas Day?
That's like an action movie. That's like how that's how I imagine like Die Hard, because I haven't watched it. That's how I imagine
that's not
that would
exactly
go
what
down.
Die Hard. I haven't watched Die Hard either, but it's not that kind of thing. He just gets in. I think he just gets into a situation. I don't think he gets set on a revenge path by some tragic incident.
No,
I
think
some ridiculous
he
situation.
gets like taken hostage in like a Christmas mall or some shit, and has to take down a bunch of terrorists, I think. And I only know that because of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he doesn't. The main character.
No,
doesn't
it's not
shut
in a
up
mall. It's just in an apartment block, I think, or just a high rise.
No, I think a high-rise mall.
You're thinking of Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Maybe I'm thinking of Paul Blart Mall Cop. I will acknowledge the chance that I may be twisting Die Hard with Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Mall Blart Paul Cop.
I like how like the first one, I don't think any of them were probably due such high regard, but the first one was actually enjoyed, but then no one watched the second one, I don't think.
No.
Like it just, they were like, okay, I guess you'll make a second one, and then no one gave a shit at all.
I think the first one was actually set at Christmas.
I don't think I remember enough.
This is important research. No, well, the thing is, I remember a character called Rudolph, but that doesn't mean it was set at Christmas.
Right, I'm not. I only remember that he had like he needed to take sugar, and he ate a really disgusting lollipop on the floor.
Yeah. I remember that too. That's a really important part of the film, actually. Yeah, I don't think it's set at Christmas.
Right. So that means Paul Blart Mall Cop has no permission to be in this podcast. We're gonna have to move on.
Well, that's not fair, is it?
If it was set at Christmas, we could have talked about it for the entire thing, but because of that and that alone, we're gonna have to move on.
We can talk about After Christmas.
I watched that years ago. I feel like it's like the Avatar of animation films.
What?
Where it's like really highly regarded, but I can't remember a damn thing about it.
That's 9. Actually, no, 9's quite memorable. Did you ever watch 9?
I think I might have, but I know what you're on about.
That's one of the coolest animated movies like ever.
Isn't it like actually supposed to be for children, but it's like hella not like in any way, shape, or form? It can't be meant for
children. I don't think the people who made it intended it for children. I reckon the studio did, but I think the people making it were like, nah, it's just fucking sick.
Fuck that.
It's like little little men made out of like potato bags,
Yeah,
and they're like in
they're
like
in,
a post-apocalyptic world with like horrible like steampunk monsters, and it's actually pretty fucking cool. It's like a big one. It's a big like potato sack man with a giant sword.
It's just a fucking anime at that point, really.
I knew you. I was thinking as soon as I said giant sword, I was just thinking it's an anime.
Well, if you think about it, yeah, like post-apocalyptic fucking yeah. There's a very thin line. Point is, we probably should talk about Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah, you say that, but as far as I'm concerned, I think these specials are excuse to not have to do that necessarily.
We should cover it at some point.
We will soon, but before we get to that, I need to ask you a very important question. Are Jaffa cakes a cake or a biscuit?
Aren't they a cake because when they go stale, they go hard?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the thing,
but also
right?
They're not biscuits. Biscuits are hard anyway. It's not like the stale. To me, it's not the stale thing.
When they go stale.
Yeah, but to me, it's not actually the stale thing. It's just that biscuits are hard and cakes are soft. Cookies are soft, but it's still a different texture. Jaffa cakes are cake-like in texture. How could they not be cakes? Also, they baked a giant one to prove that it was a cake.
Right. So
that's how they did it.
Isn't this whole thing is because like obviously they say it's called a Jaffa cake, but doesn't it actually like then on the back say that it's a biscuit or some shit, right? Because like otherwise it fucking tells you that it's a cake.
You know what I think? You know what I think? McVitie's are like in charge of cakes and biscuits, basically. So they whatever they say goes, and Jaffa cakes are McVitie's. If they say they're cakes, then they're cakes.
It's worth noting though, Harry, that I'm pretty sure McVitie's is really only a thing in England. Like I've talked to Damien, and I've gone through like digestives, hobnobs, rich teas, all the most basic, popular fucking biscuits we actually have and own. Like that everyone and their nan,
they don't really have biscuits in America. They don't. They just have cookies, and they think all biscuits are cookies as well. Unlike us, who have biscuit culture, we know the difference.
Actually, probably that really is part of our culture, isn't it?
Biscuits definitely are. Team Biscuits is absolutely a part. I should have some right now.
I had some yesterday, and I fucking loved it. It was a great time. Low-key wanted some, but it was fucking chocolate biscuits and hot tea, so there wasn't much that he could have.
Is there any like exclusively Christmas food or drink that you like specifically Christmas stuff, like Christmas pudding, stuff that you only have at Christmas? Not even Christmas themed things. I mean, like, I can't even think of other things now. Like a snowball, which is like a weird alcoholic drink, like creamy alcoholic drink they put lemonade in. It's pretty horrible.
This won't surprise you, Harry, but I'm not that. I don't really mix things up on Christmas. Like, I'll just still have water. Generally,
that does surprise me. Actually.
I don't even have a milk, which really feels like it should. Probably should. I might ask for milk on next Christmas, but
next Christmas. We have to wait a little bit to put that on hold. Put that on the back burner for next time.
To write it down, make sure I put it on the calendar. But I don't think so, because I don't know. All our meals are pretty set for Christmas. Like we kind of have a formula, and I don't know. I mean, we have little burgers because one of our meals are. It's not even like Christmassy. It's just like finger food. Where basically just throw a bunch of little shits in the oven, and then they just come out cooked. And there are tiny little burgers, like mini burgers that you could just put in whole, and it's just like.
Yeah, I'm aware of the concept,
good,
but
it's just it just hits for some reason. And those burgers, I'm just.
These burgers go hard. It's like how Squidward eats the Krabby Patties.
Yeah, I literally, my fucking thighs, man, they're like seconds from exploding when I stop. First it goes to your side,
and then you blow up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me on Christmas with little burgers.
Yeah, me on Christmas. Well, actually, it's the 22nd of December. It doesn't feel like it's Christmas.
Not in any way, shape, or form.
This year hasn't felt Christmassy. I'll be honest. Even Deep Rock couldn't help that for some reason.
I think it's once again due to the childlike wonder in that we are getting very close to being the adult at a Christmas event. As in, technically, we already are, right? I'm drawing the line on 21. I'm giving it a year. This is my last Christmas as a quotations child in my own mind, at least.
You can't be 20 years old and not. You can't. You can't call yourself a child.
I'm not calling myself a child. I'm just going into Christmas expecting to just receive instead of give, right? Because that's kind of the thing with adults is that you know they kind of just
the dogs. I know you said adults, but it sounded like you said the dogs.
They just kind of they're a lot more give than receive, and the children just get tons. At least we used to.
I think what it is possibly for me is that I don't actually want anything. I really had to try to come up with things to ask for, and it's stuff that I could just get anyway. I don't need it to be bought for me for Christmas. That's the problem.
Pretty much same.
It's just no. Christmas always used to be like, oh, I'll get my Xbox for Christmas.
Yeah. I mean,
it felt like it was always either a games console or like a new bike.
Yeah.
It was
I got 2 new bikes for Christmas, and it lasted a week after. Right? Bikes have never been my mode of transport, but they kept trying.
What is?
I don't transport.
Have a mode of transport.
I guess it's the drills. I think is my mode of transport.
Damn, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, it is just the fact that as you get older, the magic kind of goes. I don't know about you. You probably have them up, but we haven't bothered putting up decorations. Haven't for a while now. Like for the last couple of years, we haven't really put up any decorations.
Actually, you know what?
We go to
Maybe
my
that's
nan's.
it. I've seen barely any Christmas lights. Well,
yeah, I think honest to God,
we don't have any up. We got reindeers in the garden though.
You can point at COVID as to why this has occurred, because when COVID first hit in like 2020. It hit Christmas, at least in England, like obviously where we are. Like we were on lockdown during Christmas, and that kind of fucked with a lot of anything from most people. A lot of people likely completely ignored it, but not us, because my granddad was vulnerable, still is, and my nan's very a stickler. So even though we wanted to go around theirs for Christmas, they were like, "No, you can't do that." And since then,
you mean your
Christmas
grandma is a government suck up?
Pretty much. She's just old, and old people just do what they're told, right, from the government.
Yeah, like that's they fucking should.
Yeah, they kind of they live the life where government is right, don't disobey, But obviously, younger people now don't give 2 shits about the big old gov, and they
don't give enough shits to even vote, which means we're going to be stuck with all the oldies getting most of the votes in. So we'll be stuck
and then
with a government that doesn't benefit us.
Yeah,
but it's not like they have much of a choice, considering they're refusing to hold a general election.
So are we not able to vote out the random fucker that we currently have? Like, because we have a prime minister in right now.
The guy, yeah, kind of. But the party it's been the Conservative Party for a while now. They haven't. That's a separate thing. The general election decides what party. We're stuck with the Conservatives until they hold a general election. Who's prime minister can still change, but it's going to be Conservatives for the foreseeable future.
Well, shouldn't it be every 4 years? Isn't that
I don't know. I think it's. It must be. I don't know. I don't know politics.
Yeah. Point
Margaret Thatcher, the milk snatcher.
Politics has failed. It doesn't work.
Politics doesn't work.
Yeah, or like democracy doesn't work, and obviously dictatorships are not much better.
Democracy.
It is. Merry Christmas, everyone. Let's talk about Deep Rock.
I wish we could vote.
We can vote
on Deep Rock.
I wish we could as well, to be honest with you. But then again, voting is one of the things I hate most that some games do, like the stupid fucking Minecraft mob vote, which is the most
but that's Minecraft.
diabolical.
That's a bit different.
evil, fucking scummy shit fuck of a fucking thing ever I've fucking seen.
There's a big difference between a vote for what's going to be done next, what's going to be worked on next, and what's going to be added next. Minecraft is like, what's going to be added next. They could easily make all of those. I mean, as far as we know, we don't. Do they? Do they make them all? They don't make them all, do they?
They would have to know that they can add.
They've been
them.
Designed.
Yeah,
as if they were in the game.
Yeah,
like designed on paper.
For anyone that doesn't know or like does know, Minecraft does like a mob vote thing where they make 3 mobs and they bring it to the community and they're like, which one do you want to be added to the game? And they went a bit further. Like they used to go further than mob votes. They used to do like biome votes, where it'd be like, which biome do you want us to like update and like redo and like add a bunch of stuff to? And that was the thing, and people voted on it.
That's fine because it's like community prioritizing.
Yeah, the issue is it wasn't that, because they didn't do that. It wasn't prioritizing. It was, you pick the tundra. Now the other 2 options will never get updated.
Like, is that actually what it meant?
Yeah, the other 2 never got updated. And then luckily, you know, there was the mountains, swamp, and I think it was the savannah. And the mountains won. Obviously, that became the Clays and Cliffs update. But clearly, they realized how dumb that fucking was. And eventually, they did release the swamp one recently. I think it was last year. But the point is, Minecraft's voting system is scummy as fuck. Especially since
I've actually seen that they've been getting they're just desserts a little bit. The internet's, I've seen it's you know it's kind of playful, but I've seen memes where it's like the Minecraft developers when they have to add like more than 1 mob a year or something, and they're like fucking sweating.
And I think this is worth noting that, like, obviously we complain about Deep Rock's update posting schedule. They post and add way more than Minecraft does every year. So, you know, gotta give them that. You know, fucking Microsoft pumping money straight into Mojang, and they can't pull up and make as much stuff as fucking Ghost Shit does. Which is why I don't play Minecraft anymore. Because not only because Bedrock Edition fucking sucks, it barely runs, and it doesn't run the same as other stuff, so it's a pain in the ass to play. But also because fuck them, they clearly don't care about the game. They don't need to add anything to the game, so why the fuck should I play it? But yeah, so fuck Minecraft.
I haven't looked at Default reviews in a while. I just thought about that. That's a video that I completely forgot about. Yeah, of course you've only done it once so far, but it's really like there's not much benefit to doing it more than once, or at least not often.
Yeah,
it has to be far from often.
The thing is, there's only ever so many like things people can complain about. Like even in that one video, we had multiple people just saying shit repetitive, yo. Not with those words, but like multiple people had the same issues with the game, because that is a fact. Like obviously some people have completely wild, wrong, weird reasons. Like the guy that spent like 700 hours on the game, yet because they got banned off the Discord, he stopped playing it. I think that was a comment.
I'm on the page for Terraria on Steam.
Why?
I saw something recently. I think Terraria might actually be like the highest rated
Christmas
game.
Events on Terraria now. Right?
Oh shit, it is, isn't it? Oh well.
Yeah.
I think it's actually like the highest rated game like ever or something.
Down should be.
I mean, this shit is ridiculous though. It's got 842,000 reviews, and it's overwhelmingly positive. It's the general rating. And the first review's got like text art of Walter White. Oh, I can't believe that they're doing another fucking update.
They can't help themselves. which, in all fairness, I can't really
help themselves.
I can't blame them, because at no point in time did they say we want to stop working on this game because we don't want to work on this game anymore. It came from a place of passion where we physically can't, or at least they thought they physically couldn't. Clearly, there was some more they could pull out of this. But
Is it Risk of Rain? I think it is. They're doing a collab. Oh, is it Dead
Really?
Cells? It was either one of those. I think they're the same thing.
I could see Risk of Rain. Dead Cells in no universe. Dead Cells is a horror game. That's where like there's like fucking creatures of nightmares, and you get the plasma cutter. That's Dead Cells.
That's
isn't
Dead
it?
Space. Is Smeg.
Oh, Dead Cells. That does. Oh, Dead Cells. No wait. All right, I'm gonna have to look this up. Either way, I played Risk of Rain, and I could very much see them doing a collab. They are quite similar visually, not visually, but like I don't know, that would fit the kind of size. I think I played Dead Cells. Oh yeah,
It's
I have
Dead
it
Cells.
installed.
No, Dead Cells.
Yeah.
That's the thing that they're doing. That's,
Okay, yeah.
For Terraria,
Oh, cool.
Terrarioids.
I have actually both of them installed currently. The fucking Risk of Rain and Dead Cells, but yeah, all right.
And they can't help themselves. A bit like some other friendly, high class developers.
Yeah. The thing is,
Give our gratitude to.
I would assume, and obviously I do want to bring it to Deep Rock, but I assume at this point in time, people working on Terraria are working on Terraria 2 or whatever the next game is. I don't doubt that they are not putting 100% into these collab things. They're probably just putting these collabs to keep the current game alive, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's annoying because it's like every time they announce an update, it's like, oh, so there's no point playing right now.
It really did like make World's End feel a lot less.
Journey's End
feel a lot less far kind of feeling. You know, like when Journey's End came out, you're like, damn, this is it. Fuck the end of a legacy, and then it kind of just kept releasing updates. I'm like, damn, we back.
Yeah, we are. I don't know. I've seen. I mean, look. That was audible. The first part of the phone call, like the call, the ringtone. You heard the ringtone.
I actually couldn't.
Couldn't you? Then I shouldn't have brought it up at all.
No, they will though. Because
it's actually different.
Discord will have it if you're not talking. Discord to like deletes it, but they'll hear it straight from the mic.
They can hear everything on my end.
Ruin the recording. We are so you completely it's unsalvageable. All of our amazing related conversations before.
Like salvage up.
What? Okay.
Which is, I still find it really odd that Glacial Strata was added not at Christmas.
It was like close though.
No.
No.
It was its own update, basically completely dedicated to it. It was like called like Winter is Coming. Like it wasn't even close to Christmas. Oh, it's called Winter Has Come. Was it in winter?
Yeah.
No, like I thought, August 31st, 2018.
Why?
Oh my god, they added the temperature system. Fucking hell, that's where it all changed. Fuck. The temperature system. Good lord.
Yeah. Well, shush. Right. Speaking of winter, Christmas, let's actually talk about the Christmas event because there is a lot of stuff to talk about, right? Like, if we break it down, more than any other event ever so far. So,
I get. No, not I guess. Why would I even say that? No point. Yes.
All right. I think let's first thing out of the way. We got 2 assignments for this event. Kind of, technically.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually abnormal. It's always.
Do we always get the end of year?
I forget.
Same as
to
Christmas?
Be honest, I forget. Maybe it is always just the end of year thing in the Christmas event. Let's go back to the last Christmas event, Xmas Party 2021. There's only mention of one assignment here, and it gave both of the headgears. So yeah, it did actually technically add a new assignment.
Right.
One that's not normally there, which is the elf hunt assignment. Not that you only encounter elves during that, but still.
Well, look, because the assignment that it gives you is the yearly performance, right? That's
the normal Christmas assignment. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that the? Oh.
It's always that. I think that's what it looks like, and they added the Yuletide Elf Hunt.
All right.
Which came with all the new fancy stuff, elf stuff.
Yeah, which obviously, but yeah, I mean, second of all, because it's still on the, even with just talking about the assignments alone, there is something to note. Once again, each stage of the assignments had its own unique voice line. They were goofier because there wasn't much more to say about it. I didn't really pay attention to most of them, I'll be honest with you, but I did hear management say like I don't know, something kind of goofy, something like, "Oh, I hope you have a Merry Christmas." And he was like, "I can't believe they made me say that," like something like that. So basically, they do seem to be fond and are keeping up with management actually having unique voice lines for assignments.
That's the thing that I like about it. I don't really care about story being injected, or at least not in the way that they're doing it. Like I don't think the season 3 assignment voice lines added anything like in terms of actually giving a story to it. But it helped it feel a little bit more. It was good. It was good because it's like it makes sense. I wouldn't just expect generic repeated voice lines, especially in an assignment like that. It makes more. It more so just makes sense rather than actually adding anything special. Not special.
Yeah. Because I think it's having unique voice lines for unique assignments. I think is a fair thing to do, right? Obviously, this Christmas event is only ever going to come around once. Like they're not going to be using the same elf theme or like elf related thing. Like they might be able to reuse some of the Mission Control's voice lines like next year, but no. So it's nice that they went out of the way to do the unique stuff, but.
That's the thing I don't like about it, though, which I already hate. Like I've said, I don't like at all. But it's not that because we don't know that. We don't know that they're not going to reuse these things. But it also would be a bit ridiculous, wouldn't it? But at the same time, I remember you mentioned it. Considering it was basically the same thing again, the Christmas event as it was with Oktoberfest, that it's a freighter carrying goods like. Seasonal goods, and it just crashes on Hoxie's.
Oh
shit! It
happened
again. Anyway, yeah. As I was saying, it's in concept. Basically, the same thing happened. Which is like, what are the chances of the freighter crashing again? Clearly, something's out to get them. Either way, you sort of said, "Oh, it's basically it's like a gag," which means
I
just
hope
meant to be funny.
I hope they go down that route. I don't think that's inherently what they're doing, but like as far as the main seasonal themes, I'd like them to venture a bit further than something appeared from space and right, which is so far the only thing that's occurred.
But that's not meant to be funny, though.
Exactly.
Well, it's meant to be. Maybe not. It's not necessarily meant to be humorous. I think that aspect of it definitely is, though.
I think the holiday events have liberty to be goofy in that regard. That like each fucking holiday they hire the same they hire the shit from the same company and they keep fucking like doing it. And like maybe if they want to like lean on it, like management slowly gets angrier and angrier and angrier as like the years pass. They just keep fucking crashing, and it's like, why do we even still buy from these guys? They've never successfully delivered anything. Like stuff like that. I think they could really play on the comedy of it while also then not having to think up things for later seasons.
Yeah, but
and be able to reuse it.
Yes, but that's the thing. Do you think I think it works. It will work for every event, but do you think it will work for repeated events? Like obviously, we're not necessarily going to get Oktoberfest again. We don't know if we will or not. But obviously, we'll get Christmas again next year. Do you think it would be the exact same thing again? And would that work?
Well, the issue is that
I don't want them to have to think of something new.
I think
worth it.
The best idea would be to reuse it, which is the same reason why I think they should bring back Oktoberfest and will bring back Oktoberfest next year. In that they would get to reuse all the models and all the stuff they made, like the beer and all that they did last year. However, the way they're doing it, they're making these holiday events unrepeatable.
Exactly, which is really...
Because The Oktoberfest, which obviously, yeah, it was quotation marks like sausage themed, right? Like that Oktoberfest was specifically sausage themed, which is, I think, something to do with Oktoberfest. Like I think Oktoberfest isn't like generally just a celebration of like Germany's culture or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and they just took the sausage part and then ramped it up, which is fine. But it would be weird if that's every Oktoberfest moving forward, because there's more to Oktoberfest. Maybe they planned on maybe doing, one's a sausage one, one's like a good or some other German word. Like maybe. The point is it's not repeatable, or at least the way they made it isn't fluidly repeatable. It would feel kind of weird if you've played the same kind of event for 3 years in a row, and that is an issue, right? Which I think is equally the same for this season, although I'd argue slightly better, because this is just Christmas, right? They haven't made anything this specific Christmas, other than the fact that they put a bunch of decorations on top of the seasonal things in the hub, which they obviously wouldn't be able to reuse if that stuff's gone next year. But I don't think that's a big issue. But it's I don't know, it's not as bad as it was in Oktoberfest, but it is still the case that, having the Yuletide elves around again next year will be a bit weird. And knowing what we know about Ghost Ship, they would want to go further or do something different next year, right? Like, I think
they wouldn't want to repeat themselves, would they? I can't see that. But at the same time, it's like, are they hurting themselves by forcing themselves to not repeat it? We don't know if they would or not. We'd have to actually see. But I would assume that they wouldn't want to repeat it.
They are not forcing themselves to repeat it. They would be forcing themselves to keep it. Wait, I think I said that wrong. Point is, like, if it would actually be more natural to them, and they'd feel a lot better if they redid whatever the event is, right, next year. Like, maybe some fucking Glyphids have Santa, or Rudolph noses, and fucking management wants to know why, and they need to capture the Glyphids, or some shit like that, right? Maybe they're like, okay, yeah, that we'll do this like this year, and like stuff like that. They'll want to kind of mix things up. That is naturally Ghost Ship. What isn't, and what would take them a lot of effort,
they should have they should reskin the meteorite as a giant present.
Yeah, I mean,
see, I think this does lean into a bit of a weird thing where it's like it doesn't feel like they plan ahead all that much, because I would compare these events to because obviously the rival events stuck around. But then you look at what season 3 brought. It's just like, how are they going to excuse, when like the rock box is all said and done, how are they going to excuse meteorite still coming down? It's sort of a similar situation, but we're not going to know until they actually have to address it, and it's going to take a while. So it applies to that and the seasonal events, by which I mean holiday events, which we should call them holiday events, just to help clarity's sake.
Yeah, holiday events is what we. I don't actually remember exactly what we're saying, but. It's basically, it's just they've done themselves another dirty deed But in
the case of these events, it's like you wish you could see change quicker by the seasons happening quicker, but holidays, it's forced. We're forced to have to wait a year to see how they're going to handle Christmas next year.
Yeah,
that's not going to change. They're not going to do Christmas in the summer, but I guess we'll see what they do with like the next event. As in if they bring it back, because obviously we had last year. Oh, I'm just scrolling. There it is. When was this? Oh, it was late January. The Lunar Festival. Yeah, you remember this? And they did it for the first time last year. And obviously it was pretty.
Last year or this year?
It was last year. It was after season 1, though. Wait a minute, what? Oh, no, it was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, almost, but yeah.
Yeah, this year, because it was after season 1. Yeah, 2022, the Lunar Convergence cleanup. Yeah, it's interesting because it was a pretty like empty event, but it sort of also
There's only
came out.
one headgear.
Yeah, but it also sort of came out of nowhere, and also it felt like they were trying to inject some more things into it, but without actually implementing any of it. Like for example, the hat was tied to like the Scale Brigade for some reason. It had their logo on it, and even then, it's just the stuff that they said about the Lunar Festival. It was in like the assignment description. It says because it's called the Lunar Convergence Cleanup. It says the peculiar energies released during the lunar convergence of the Hoxie system are rumored to bring out extraordinary numbers of glyphids, and R&D asks for more data. It feels like they had an idea for an actual added activity during that event, and that gives me an impression that they probably would bring it back, or at least if they did, it would actually incorporate something, because it didn't actually change anything in the game. It was a really, to be honest, it was a really shallow event. The only thing that made it exciting was that it was new. And it's very difficult for me to want them to do this for every event, because I just don't know how that's going to pan out in the future. On repeat events.
Well, the thing is, though, is if you think about it, if they go hard on every single holiday, and they add like 2 more holidays in the summer drought, there will be content to play on Deep Rock for like most of the year. Like new season, like let's go like new season about a month, Christmas about a month, Lunar about a month, anniversary about a month. That'll be what? That's like
March tends to get. Well, it's you think about it, because the anniversary starts late February, and it will lead into March a little bit, and then Easter.
March will be pretty empty. Yeah, so then we'll look at
Easter, next season,
and then next season, and then if they can
and then summer,
make
but they need another one. Looking at this, there is still one missing in the summer holidays, I think. Even
still, though, there's summer holiday. They need one earlier on. And or with the middle, they needed more. If that's my point, is if they felt like it, if they decide this is the route they want to go by making seasons not add that much reason to play, giving the people constant streams of events would cure that, right? Just constant events with significant enough additions to make people come back and play the game. That would work, especially with the new double XP. It seems to be, it's going to be a staple from now on, right? It's giving off the impression that from now on, holidays will have an event in mission that doubles your XP. That obviously we didn't get that to Halloween, but that's only because they literally didn't have time from to make it, because they're obviously finishing up season 3, and and Oktoberfest was a test, and it passed. Clearly, this feature was a green thumbs up from everyone, which I agree with. It's really good. Making holiday events a little bit more interesting, adding a little bit more to the cave, doubling pass progression is cool. And it seems like from now on, that's what we're going to be looking at. Some way, shape, or form, and a thing you have to do in the cave that will double your performance points, which apparently is going to always be in the cave, which is interesting. But that's going to be a permanent addition.
There really wasn't any forewarning for the Lunar Convergence event either. No, it was literally, it's live. That was how it got announced. There was nothing before.
Yeah, but it was literally, if this is the case, that there will always be a double XP in the holidays, then it's basically going to be the point where no one will play Deep Rock, or like no one being a generalized term, as in like a small percentage of the amount of people that would want to play the game will bother playing at any time that isn't a holiday, because holidays actually have things to unlock and would actually double the push you through the pass, so you wouldn't have to play in days other than the holiday, because the holidays will just push you through the pass at a quick enough pace. And it will get to the point where Deep Rook is just something you would jump in for the holidays, do the assignments, maybe play a couple more games, and actually play the seasonal content, and then just drop it again until the next holiday.
Well, yeah, it's just it's the job that you do on your off time. That's what Deep Rook is. For the working man, his holidays are occupied by another job, working at a space mining company in his Xbox.
But yeah, it seems like that is a path they could go down. Is not relying on seasons being enough content to keep people around, relying on holidays to keep luring people back, which is kind of what like other games tend to do. So I think Apex does it. It has like 3 events during a season that like is like, oh, come play. There's a new game mode for a limited time. Oh, come play a new bunch of skins, stuff like that. That's what it seems like Deep Rock. That is honestly, that's where it feels like it's heading. With the more effort put into seasons, assuming that more effort into seasons equals less effort. More effort into holidays being less effort into seasons, then that's the result we're going to get.
But they need to. Well, see, I don't inherently have a problem, but I do in that I need them to put their foot down on either option. You know, it's like fuck. What was I going to say? Fuck. Cock.
Well, yeah, I think
they either need to focus on this stuff or focus on adding, because it's like if you combine season 3 with like all the seasonal event, all the holiday events and whatnot, all of that stuff, I think post season 2, the value of all the content that's been added is temporary. Even like some of the content is literally temporary. That's the holiday events, and some of the content only has temporary value, which is basically everything that season 3 added. Its value wears off very quickly. And if they want to do things that just give the game like bursts of life, but frequently, but still temporary, that's fine as long as they put their foot down and it feels like it's a very regular stream of content that is temporary, I guess.
Yeah, but I think
you need to agree with me. Ignore the holiday events. That's the other option.
You need to agree with me that is not what Deep Rook should be going for. Deep Rook is not the kind of game that relies on temporary content. It relies on sturdy, constant. You can play it at any time, and it's like the same fucking thing, right? Like that's it, right? You have a pool of things to do, and you just keep doing it. That is what Deep Rock has been for like most of its existence, right? Like you just play the game. Everything is there. You just play it over and over and over and over and over again. But then with temporary stuff, like the new season stuff, it's not there to do over and over and over again. You do it then, and then it'll be gone. Bye-bye. No more of that. And that's just not going to work for me, in my opinion. That's not where Deep Rock should be heading. It should head in a more base game. Because it's a fact that if we rely on holiday temporary stuff, which is currently what they are heading towards, the seasons are getting less and stuff, and the holidays are getting more, it will just result in the base game being not worth playing. Literally, if there is not a holiday or a season that just came out, the game will not be worth playing, is what the game will end up being. And I would argue currently close to. And it's not the future for this game that I would hope it is heading towards. But obviously that depends on, they could easily change that, right? They could easily be like, okay, Christmas, we'll just make Christmas a big deal, we'll make Easter a big deal, we'll make like Halloween a big deal, and then we'll do like a summer one because that's like a really fucking barren time, something like that.
Honestly, I'd love if they did that. If they did that and then like dropped seasons and they just focused on the holidays, and then also did a massive content drop every year.
Maybe
then they actually have updates that can have ambition. and then it's like
Maybe, but then it would just feel like going on the holidays just feels like a chore because there'll be nothing new added to do
yeah.
while you're there
This is
for an
this is a bit of a
entire
problem I have
year.
with the holidays because I don't think the effort is actually making them better. The increased effort they're putting into these holiday events, it's not actually doing much, really. I don't think about the elves, like the fucking little Yuletide animatronic elves.
Really, in the stream yesterday, you literally pressed the button before realizing we hadn't even killed him.
Yeah, it's not actually adding anything. It's like all the effort put into decorations. It's not making me want to. It's not actually making me want to play the game anymore.
There's
It's
not more
keeping it a
stuff
little
to
bit.
do.
It's not keeping. It is keeping it fresh in ways, but it doesn't actually make me want to play it more than I already do. Um, you know,
Yeah.
It's just.
it's not
I know, yeah.
content, so it's not actually worth effort, in my opinion.
I think, as mentioned though, like I think currently this Christmas event. I don't know. First of all, Christmas event went too far. I would say they went too far with the Christmas event. I think Oktoberfest was about right, but a bit too much effort for Oktoberfest. But I guess it was an experiment, and it's deep proc, so Oktoberfest is kind of a topically related big deal. But like if they can get a in-game event that doubles your thing, and like a beer, and that they can reuse every year, decorations they can reuse every year, and all they have to come up with each year is the shitty fucking hats or headgears or masks or whatever. If that's what they can get it to, that'll be fine, right? I think that'll do, right? That is more than enough for a holiday event, holiday thing. But the issue is that, as mentioned, I think currently Christmas went too far with the Bosco pickaxe armor set stuff. Obviously, we'll get our opinions on
Well,
but
actually,
it's still a
so
fact.
on that, yeah, I want to go to that straight away. Actually, Or not
You wouldn't
straight
go to
away.
that now,
But it actually
it's
brings
just,
up something important. If we ignore the pickaxe, though, take the armor set and the Bosco framework. That's all they needed, really. As in, what I'm saying is, like, they're so obsessed with headgear. But it's just,
yeah.
like, if it was just the elf suit and the Bosco thing, that would be like a better replacement. It's just like, oh my god, we're getting armor, like we're getting a costume and a Bosco framework instead of hats.
I mean, I would
much better than hats.
I would argue that if we had gotten a Bosco and pickaxe stuff, I would have been like, oh shit, yeah. Like, I would have been more
Honestly, just the
hyped
pickaxe
than-
and one of the hats.
Well, no, because it would have been more that they broke away from the hats. That's what I would have been. I would have been
but
really
the hats are
hyped
still
for.
there, and they're not good.
Yeah,
They're much worse than everything else there.
The hat, one of the hats just goes with the armor,
Yeah,
which I guess
fine.
it's good that it pairs. So that works out. And the other one is absolutely fucking terrible, and I don't understand the point
wearing
with
the
it.
reindeer hat. Go ship. Ain't no one. And I know that's not like, you know, impeding development, the reindeer hat, is it? But it's also not worth any effort.
Yeah, but seriously, it is, why bother adding a hat that no one will wear?
This is actually the best thing about this holiday, because it actually did one of the things that I want to see a bit more of. I don't want them to put this many cosmetics in every holiday, but I want to see different ones. Like the pickaxe, for example, that's a good cosmetic. Now, obviously, it's a whole pickaxe set, which is a bit much, but like you get the paint job as well. You get other things. Like I'd like to see paint jobs and, you know, weapon paint jobs and stuff, or armor paint jobs that can like fill that slot. It doesn't have to be headgear. And honestly, at this point, the holiday headgears are the ones that get used the least. But you can still have other like types of cosmetics themed with the holiday. But every other type of cosmetic is more likely to be used more. Like a holiday themed paint job is far more likely to be used like forever than a holiday hat. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what the pickaxe is. People are far more likely to use that, actually incorporate that into their like loadouts, their looks, than any other holiday cosmetic ever been added.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Halloween ones were pretty good actually this year. I'll give them some credit.
Halloween ones generally work.
The Halloween ones tend to be the better ones, yeah.
because Halloween's they often play with like black and that kind of stuff, or like actual good colors. But like
I
Christmas,
mean, the fish one was pretty bad.
I still managed to
Really?
make it work though.
Yeah, but it's
I know
not.
you don't
I
agree
mean,
that I should have.
It's a bit too gimmicky. Like the demon one. Like, yeah, that's very gimmicky. But it's also like a demon face. Like that's like a Satan face. It's like I can see a place for that outside of it just being a Halloween cosmetic. Same with the most recent ones. Well, the mission control one's a bit. It's very silly, but it's also
very memey, but it does work.
And the other one is arguably the coolest Halloween headgear. It's pretty decent. It looks a bit odd if you don't use the black skin color, like if you're not a black dwarf, basically.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can see the skin underneath and it doesn't look natural. If the black one blends in, so it looks like it's just a full. That's your head, basically. I kind of like that. It's a bit more in the line of the ghost ship, the skeleton crew. That isn't it? Than, a Halloween one, because that could have been a Halloween one, obviously, but it works on its own, even if it doesn't correlate particularly well with in-game colours. I'm just saying that's one of the main things I like to see. From I don't want them to go this far at all with any of the events. I just want to see different cosmetics and not have different stuff instead of the hats. I'll be really honest different stuff as well as the hats.
This is entirely my own headcanon. And like going off like what we know, right? Is that they said that we kind of went too far, or like they didn't say we went too far, but we got caught up in it, right? Carried away. Which kind of, first of all, that means that they know they went too far, though, right? They got carried away means that you acknowledge that you went too far. That's what it means, right? Like inherently, that like so they do seem to know that they got carried away with this event. So I don't think we should be expecting this much ever again, really.
No, I guess so. Yeah.
For multiple reasons, right? I think that obviously not really any other holiday is worth doing this. Like Christmas is by far the biggest holiday in the fucking universe, right?
In the universe, yeah.
Yeah, I bet even aliens celebrate fucking Christmas. Honestly, although in games, I think Christmas is like a 2 to Halloween. Halloween updates are always just better than everything else. But yeah, Christmas is like fucking obviously up there. So I'm not surprised they went really hard on this Christmas one. Second of all, this is like just after season 3's launch, so they still haven't actually, they're not in the middle of working on the actual next season yet. They probably just started, so they could kind of do other things before then. And plus, and this is the final point, is that they still haven't released a roadmap for that's taken them a lot longer. So I didn't
want to talk about this just yet.
I'm just going to bring up this point.
Review the cosmetics a bit more.
Yeah, it's the point that like it seems like they just did this because they had nothing else to do. Is my point. Like that they finished season 3, they're still trying to figure out what season 4 is going to be, and they knew they had to do Christmas, and they started doing it, and they were like, well, we have all these resources, so let's just do a Yuletide elf and make some headgears, and fuck it, let's do some armors as well, and like all that stuff. Maybe as a secret apology for taking so long. Who knows? That's certainly a canon that all this stuff was an apology. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we should expect anything close to this amount of stuff again, even next Christmas. Like, obviously,
well, that's the thing. See, you bring up that's an interesting point, though. I could see it happening for Christmas, but only Christmas. No. Oh, I can, kind of. Mate,
we're not getting another armor set for Christmas.
Well, no, that's the thing I can see, the costume thing. Because it's a costume.
No, that's dumb.
It's the pickaxe that really gets in the way. I can see them want to be like, oh, we should make a snowman costume. Not that they should, but I can see it happening. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, no, because it's not like Yuletide elves is just a random thing they picked, right? It's not a random, it's like Rudolph or anything like that. It's an elf, Harry. Yuletide elf, sure. It's an elf, though. It's an elf cosplay. That's the joke. That's the point of it. That's why they added it. It's to give the dwarves a haha, you can be an elf, right? That's the whole point. It's not that haha, you can be a Christmas entity. It's haha, you can be an
I
elf.
don't know, man. I want to be a Christmas entity.
That is a snowman
That
or
sounds
Yeti
terrifying.
or anything like that. Which
Christmas entity.
yeah, a fucking Yuletide being.
Yuletide
like
being.
it's
Christmas
fucking.
spirit.
It's yeah. I don't expect or hope anything. Honestly, realistically, if we're gonna get armor sets that are costumes, Halloween. Let's get that out
Oh
of the
yeah,
way.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I got
Like a mummy. Huh? Rate
All right.
them.
Let's rate the cosmetics.
What, like out of 10? Like,
yeah. Well, yeah. No, not numbers. On a scale of
A to B.
absolutely fucking garbage. In no universe could anyone or should anyone wear this. To a must pick. Put this on every dwarf ever. Best shit in the game ever. That's the spectrum.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There you go. Starting with who?
Let's go with the reindeer one
run.
because that's the it's on a separate one, right? So
I feel so sorry for that stupid fucking hat. It's the most obligatory thing I've ever seen. Because it's like it's on its own in that assignment, and it's terrible.
At this point, why is it called? So why is it called Reindeer Games? I don't. Is that a company that makes games? I don't get it.
Film called Reindeer Games. I don't think it has anything to do with reindeers.
It is a
Reindeer
film.
Games is a test of your ability to accept a slush pile of implausible, twisterish, and Tarantino-style conceits. Well, there you go.
It's a very poorly reviewed film.
And then Iron Man made a reference to it in first Avengers movie.
It's got Ben Affleck in it.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Who is a person?
He is actually a person. That is true. That is very true.
There is 7 rocking reindeer party games for kids.
Yeah, it's
which
not.
I feel like it's probably I think it's probably more like that. Pass the Antlers, Red Nose Wins, just something like that. It's probably some random fucking paper reindeer hat that you get for Christmas to like play a stupid fucking game. I think that might be what it's on about.
Yeah.
Either way, as alluded to earlier, get that real down there at the bottom of the list of get the shit. Seriously, why? No one wanted this. It's not useful for anything. It doesn't match with any color schemes because it's fucking pastel. Like it's like even the fucking browns it's working with and the stupid other fucking colors do not work with any other of that color because it's so grayed out. Just waste of everyone's time. Waste of our time for doing the assignment to unlock it. Waste of their time for making it and then fucking pushing it out there. And it's just lose with this in the game. And it's just bloating up the fucking headgears even more. Delete it. Get rid of it. No one wants it. No one will miss it. Moving on.
I just want to see someone like fight that. Like, no, I like it. It's fun. Die. Perish.
Yeah.
I want good things, okay? I
want like bear in mind, right?
I know it's meant to be silly.
Dwarves can look cool. Ghost Ship just about knows this. Sometimes they remember that fact when they whip out Scale Brigade, right?
I think there's very few stuff. I think there's very little things in like the actual passes though that it's like this goes against looking cool. I don't actually think of that for really any of it, especially the frameworks.
Every single moustache they've added.
Oh, except the moustaches. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. The moustaches are all stupid.
They got like mischievous twirl or something.
There's really only like 2 like really okay moustaches.
Yeah, I think both of our characters.
Actually, no, it's like 3. I don't mind the lowrider one, like the thin, sort of weird
I don't know. Yeah, some
Walter
of them were
White.
bad. Some of them were alright. Haramth, I think, was one they added
Harumph.
recently that was
Oh, it's
like
not, there's
suitable.
some. I'm just saying. Apart from the moustaches, most of it's like, yeah, I can see
Point is
most of these
maybe
hats are
maybe instead of
meant to look good.
maybe if they didn't, if they weren't stuck in their own walls again, which relate to the last stream we did yesterday, in that they can't escape their own arbitrary rules. They could have maybe done, instead of reindeer games, they could have done a mustache or beard where it was like Christmas decorations hanging from the beard. I'm
Yeah.
kind of sold on the beard thing
Balls
now.
in the beard.
Like,
Beard
yeah,
balls.
it's just a fat fucking beard full of baubles. Yeah, and it'll be called beard balls or something like that.
That's actually fantastic, though.
Yeah, it would be fucking amazing,
Johan, I know
and
you're listening.
everyone will use it.
Johan,
Yeah,
you're listening. This is objectively better than that reindeer hat, at least.
hell, it's better than everything else. Actually, the icicle pickout was alright, but we'll get to that. But the point is that this is what happens for the millisecond that you escape we have to do two headgears because of our ancient ways. We have to add two headgears to this game because back in like 5 fucking years ago we arbitrarily decided it. We have to do it right now, and we cannot break away from that. That's what they think for everything in this game, basically. But
I want
it's an
like a
example of
gift
it.
wrapping like paint job or a candy cane paint job,
Yeah,
I want that shit.
It's
and
a
that's
pretty
enough.
obvious one.
That's enough for the whole thing, by the way.
Yeah, it's just an assignment that gives you a candy cane and a gift wrapping armor paint job.
Or I'll tell you what's even cooler, because now you've got that fucking ice pickaxe. The actual ice like texture as a paint job as well, like when you get frozen.
Maybe, but I think we can both agree that's a lot more effort. Actually, no, that is less effort
Well, it's not.
That they currently put in.
It could be zero effort actually, because you just make the dwarfs frozen permanently. But I don't mean quite like that. I don't mean.
No, you got to agree that framework for a holiday would be a lot.
Yeah, because I had like an idea for like an ice warrior like armor set where it's like armor with like bits of ice on it, but it's just like that's for DLC or something,
Insane, yeah. In saying that, I think with the ice pickaxes, I think could do with getting other things, just not in a holiday thing. They should just add an ice framework in the pass, right? The tree.
Oh my god, for the weapons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that was what I was thinking the whole time. Right. Yeah. But yeah, and then like an ice armor rig for the dwarves in the DLC, and then it's like an ice themed season, right? Job done. That will look pretty cool, and you get to reuse the textures. Let's be honest, they had the ice textures for a fucking while now, but like point is, do that. That would be cool. Berserker.
Obviously, there is a lot of forced colors though. But at the same time, it's pretty good. It's like it's different. Like it's not like Dawn of the Dread, because you know how Dawn of the Dread is like the armor kind of sucks, but if it wasn't forced colors, it would be like the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's likely it's going to be a bit more Glyphid Trophy Hunter if the Glyphid part wasn't unpleasant and unworkable with. Like, if it was just a nice blue that you could easily put on a singular build, but you really wouldn't put anywhere else. Which, point is wish they did that instead of reindeer games. But I guess we should probably talk about the thing they really did technically
a full set of ice armor and frameworks instead of the reindeer hat. Just swap them. That's equal. That's equal.
You know what I mean? Fucking basically, I'd rather not do the reindeer hat and then work on this. Point is, bauble beards, beard balls.
Beard balls.
Yeah. Get that out there. Yeah. I mean, yeah. To be honest, yeah. If you want to go with a headgear, just be a little bit more interesting than that. Do fucking bauble crown or something. Like, just have a bunch of jangly balls in your face. Like, point is, elfing around. Elf man, Yuletide elf, a mischievous little sprite. You can now cosplay as him with the obviously assignment that gives you the full armor set and hat. Say the full armor set, like you had to get the pieces. The armor set and the hat. And together, you can be a pointy-eared leaf lover, which in and of itself is funky. It's funny. It'll do for a look. But considering how few armor sets we have, I'm not sure how fond I am that the newest addition in the repertoire is a meme. Like, I mean, it's like, sure, up for meme armors, but like, can we get some
Yeah,
more serious ones as
this is a
well?
lot closer to the med gowns than Scale Brigade.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's pretty fair.
In that it has a lot of potential with a certain element of it, but the game locks it behind a wall. In the with the med gowns, there's tons of paint jobs hidden in a med gown, let alone just the med gown color scheme, which you can't access, like with the underwear stuff. And then with the fucking elf armor quotations, you are locked into green and like
You
whatever that
neither
look is.
get that color scheme, nor do you get to change it.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like, oh well, guys. I mean, it's not. I explained this with the mod, the color restriction remover mod. It doesn't. The person who made that mod isn't manually adding the paint jobs onto that armor. The color map already exists. As far as I know, it's just switched off.
Yeah. So not only does the color map exist, and they had to,
Which means the paint
that
jobs
means
just automatically apply. I think there can be some issues though, and that's why they don't do it because I don't think it's that automatic.
yeah,
but
but that's because
I
they
think
chose
all
it
need to
not
be
to be the
tweaked in
case,
some
all
way.
right? But it's just the fact that, like, obviously you can't put any paint jobs on that armor, but you also can't put that paint job, which, let's be honest, is a paint job. They put it on the armor. You can't put that on any other ones. You
No.
can't. Which, to be honest, I don't know why you would want to. It's a bit
But
of
no,
a
but
goofy one.
that's the stuff that I'd rather see them do than the other things. Than the radio
Yeah.
games, basically. That's what I'm getting at here. That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to. I'd rather, yeah. Why would you put this arbitrary restriction in place? There's no good reason for it, unless it actually does take effort. In which case, yeah, I guess because I don't care about the armor that much.
No. They can't use effort in this update. They put too much effort in. They didn't pull back at any point in time. And if
Except they did.
making that fucking elf armor changeable or being able to have that paint job was then pulling them back, then for fuck's sake, what is wrong with you? You put
Yeah.
effort in things you don't need to do, and then when you can actually bring it up to the next level, they're like, nah. Which is the same thing with I don't want to get into that.
Excuse his vitriol, but can you honestly say that there's actually a good reason for us to not be able to put different paint jobs on the elf armor? Because I can tell you, there isn't a good reason. There might be an excuse, but there isn't a logical reason.
It's not logical, but there is one.
There's no artistic reason.
Because that armor was added as a joke. Therefore, if you can make it look good, that would defeat the purpose of the joke. That's the only thing I can think of, right? If you can make it look good with other armor sets, it won't be funny anymore because it would just be an armor set.
Nah, it's still. I've seen it. It still looks silly.
At
least it can match things. At least it can be used outside of Christmas. Because it could be. You put it in the game. It's not like it's going to disappear when the Christmas event ends. We're all just going to have this joke sitting there waiting for next Christmas.
Which is going to be pretty. I don't know. That's going to be funky. Like there is actually going to be an armor set locked behind a wall. Obviously not permanently. It's not FOMO, but people will see people with armor sets that they couldn't actually obtain. Like once this event is over, anyone logs on, sees everyone running around in fucking elf gear, which not many people will be.
Let's all agree. Let's all agree. Everyone just used elf armor.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I'm down for there being like a leaf lover uprising in like the community. Maybe that's something I could do, right? As a stance against Ghost Ship's goals for the future of this game, I'm gonna dress up as leaf lover from now on. I'm an elf. I defy Deep Rock Galactic, and it's downhill ways. And that was a really out there thing to say, considering I haven't really touched it any of that on this podcast. Point is, watch yesterday's stream and you'll know what I'm going on about.
I suggest that you what the fuck is it? What's the chemical that makes you happy?
Dopamine.
Yes, but I feel like I'm thinking of something else because I thought of
Yeah, you're
dopamine
thinking of
immediately.
something wrong because dopamine dopamine is like pleasure. It's like that's sort of like sparks
I
whenever
think
you
I'm
see
thinking of
videos online.
serotonin.
Maybe, but I'm not sure if that's it. Point is, I don't know what you're going on about. What
Have
are
a
you going on
drink
about?
with you, basically.
Yeah,
You watch that stream,
yeah, uh,
you fool.
and yeah. So basically, cool could have been better, but
Oh
it was
no,
a joke.
there
It
was
doesn't
also
have to look good
there
if
was
it's
also
supposed
the
to be
elf hat.
funny.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
fuck
which
that. By the way,
same thing. Elf hat is just elf hat would be a very serviceable hat. Which it was because we knew about the elf hat before we knew about the armor. It was a very serviceable hat for normal, right? It's a very normal not Halloween, fucking
Whew.
Christmas hat. Um, like just Christmassy, slightly goofy, kind of workable, but not really. Also in any way, shape, or form. But it was fine. It was a fine Christmas hat.
It's no
And it
tree
still
beard. I'll
is.
say that.
Yeah, it still is, but it's also I wouldn't say it brings up or goes up or down in that like obviously it works incredibly well with the armor set. In that I don't see why you would use one or the other without the other, right? I
I don't
can't.
think you need the hat every time you use the costume.
It's hard to fight it because obviously we saw was it Monkey, right? He actually put on like an actual helmet and it like colors the helmet to
Exactly. That's
the
why you
armor.
can use. I don't
Yeah,
think you need to use the hat.
but the issue is that the colored helmet being cool and all this, it's the same colors. It's still a helmet that is way more reinforced and imposing than the armor. The armor doesn't suit helmets.
I mean, the
It does
beanie isn't exactly very
that.
imposing,
Yeah, that might work. I don't know about that, but
or the beret.
point is that hat and the armor go work together. What isn't just the only times you really should like it's just even then like the armor works with more things than the hat, but the hat won't work with like anything else really. I
No,
don't think.
it isn't. The hat is weird though because it comes with the pointy ears. Now, I guess it's a bit odd. The dwarves do have pointy ears anyway, but it's just extra pointy ears, and they're like fake ears, but they also use your skin color. Now that
Yeah,
is really weird because that's not a thing, or at least it hasn't been before.
headgear's using your skin color
Can we
in
get
its
like
palette.
headgears that literally change the shape of your head? Then that's what we're getting next, right? Like a mega mind. Like a
Yeah, like it just it like grows out your head and there's like pulping veins or
Well,
something.
there's just
Like your brain's swollen.
like a interface you can use to just like distort your head shape. You can just like pull it apart.
Like your brain in
like
a
playing
jar, but
like when
there's
you're
like
making a character in
flesh.
Spore.
Like point is that does actually imply a lot of potential. Whether or not they'll live up to it is for the future to know. But I don't know. I think the
Skin
armor
colored
and
armor.
the armor and the hat are fine, but they should have been better than fine, considering let's be like how much effort was probably put into them. In that clearly not much effort was put into designing them, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a Yuletide elf, right? They didn't over-design
I mean,
anything. It's just kind of.
it's not exactly clear what came first, though, is it? Did they design the elf first? Or did they design the costume first?
Well, I think because clearly the Yuletide elf is just a dwarf model sized down. So
Yeah.
maybe they made the dwarf model's Yuletide elf thing, sized it down, and then they realized, hold on a minute, we just made an armor set and a hat. Or it was a bit of both. We thought if we make an armor set and a hat, put it on a dwarf, size it down, we'll have a little Yuletide elf
I don't
and
know.
armor
I
and
don't believe
hat.
that they conceived those things simultaneously.
I believe in that because I think that is a reasonable thing for a competent company
That's
to
too
think
much
of.
foresight.
No, it's not foresight though. That's like because they didn't think they just did it then, right? That's like instant sight. That's just an idea and they did it immediately. They didn't think about it down the line, like how this is going to affect the future of the game. That shit they never do.
Greatly.
That's foresight.
The elves are coming.
Yeah, but like I don't know. For now, it's like middle. I think it was like, sure, yay, it's in the game, but don't think you did something. I don't know. It's just that's just all they're doing currently is they're making meme stuff to placate the community, like the management headgear for Halloween. And as much as, once again, I love Small Meteor, but that is also what that was. It was a meme edition.
So I get what you're saying there. I still think you're probably exaggerating because the holiday's like, well, it's going to be silly anyway. Small Meteor is a little bit different. I don't think they added it because it was a meme. That's obviously acknowledged, I think, inherent. Well, I think that's acknowledged inherently by them bringing it back, but I don't think they brought it back because it was meme. They brought it back because people liked it, which the meme showed.
They liked the meme.
No, people wanted it back.
And that was the meme. That's how it works. People are like, oh, like nobody actually.
I don't see it as a joke, though.
Nobody really actually expected Ghost Ship to re-add it, right? People were just dicking around because normally companies don't do that. That's why when they actually did re-add it, they were like, what?
Yeah, but it's also not. I don't see it as a joke as much. It's also a better piece of content than a silly headgear.
Obviously, yeah. It's a step up. But it is my point.
The thing is, that's the thing. No one's asking for really any particular headgears, but people were asking for Small Meteor back. And obviously, that's because usually the things that people ask for tend to be a bit better than the things that Ghost Ship comes up with. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
they accidentally came up with Small Meteor.
People's ideas aren't inherently better, but people's directions tend to be. Like, re-adding Small Meteor. Obviously, that actually made Season 3 better, which I will admit, I do not think about Small Meteors when I think about Season 3 for some reason. Like, they are not lumped in my head at all as like a package. I think mainly because we know that the thing they gave us on the launch of Season 3 was Season 3, right? The Meteors was just a thing they quickly did after, right? The Season 3, before Small Meteors, was 6 months worth of content. And then Small Meteor was a week. Oh, no, was it a week? It was about a week or two, right?
It was nothing because it was an accident. It just appeared.
No. I meant the actual thing, the event, because obviously, yeah, Small Meteor, the origin, like the original Small Meteor, that if anything showed how not polished Season 3 was on release. Obviously, it's funny, but also still true that they let that slip through in a season that took them 6 months. But then, obviously, shit kicked off and they removed it come launch. Was it launch generally? It was, right? Or is it?
I have a really poor grasp of the story of Small Meteor before it got re-added.
Right, because I think actually it might have been Small Meteor was found during the beta testing, and in that case, that's fine. But if it was found after launch, then that's a bit scuffed. Well, it probably wasn't. People probably found it during beta. But then, yeah, I think it only took them like...
and added voice lines for it and refined it as its own thing.
Exactly, which is really cool, and is why, you know, that restored so much fucking faith in me and the company. Not only because, like, that is what makes Ghost Ship amazing, Small Meteor. That was them listening to the community, understanding the community, and doing what the community wanted in their own way, improved, and in record time, right? That's my thing. It took them maybe 3 weeks, right? Because it could not have been 3 weeks since people found Small Meteor, they removed it, and then it got re-added. It could not have been more than 3 weeks in that amount of time. And they added an entire new event to the game. What the fuck? Like...
I view the Christmas thing a bit like that too. It's just like they got this done in
so
pretty quickly because they had the same amount of time to make the Christmas event as they did last year.
which is why I think it is coming down to the earlier stages, in that it was them making the foaming and making the meteorite falling and making those kind of base mechanics is what took them so long.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what I think is going on here? I think it's because season 3 was not particularly well planned, nor was it spontaneous. You know, I think when something's spontaneous and when something's planned, that's equally useful for development, I think. Because having something come about spontaneously is basically just as good as it being planned, because it sort of just springs up and it's like, oh, I know what we're doing now, because
it's an immediate jump on it.
And then the plan, when you plan, it's like it's there when you start, which is, I think it's a similar effect. Season 3 felt like that stuff didn't come about naturally, but nor was it thought about in advance. It was reactionary, but not like spontaneous, and that's why the development felt slightly stilted to me of season 3.
Yeah,
but then Small Meteor, that's like impulse. So they knew what they were doing as soon as they started working on it.
Yeah, and everything they needed was already there, generally, right? Because they didn't have to code in the meteorite falling, and they didn't have to do that whole animation again, right? Obviously, they had to tinker with it because it's a different type of meteor. But they didn't have to craft it from the foundation up in visuals and coding, right? They could copy paste most of the elements of the original Meteor. Then all they really had to do then was add the cracking of it with hitting by the pickaxe. Obviously, add that as part of the experience.
Like, add the code for them to be able to fall down and the different tunnel sizes and impact, like crater sizes.
Yeah,
and the number of meteors, like coding in like how many they can and can't be, how many play cards can and can't be, and adding the voice lines. There's a fair few things that go into it still.
Sure,
but a lot of the work is already done. Yeah.
That's my theory as to why that was added really quickly. Yeah, obviously this new season, which had the meteorite, took 6 months, right? Like that does that mean that the original meteorite was done within a month? It felt
more like them trying to figure out how to not do season 2 again, rather than them doing what came naturally to them.
Well, yeah,
or what was
I don't know.
To them as actual ideas.
My point is I think season 3 took so long because obviously, they had to kind of course correct, which kind of threw off any plans they may or may not have had. And in doing that, they had to come up with everything on scratch. The new mechanics, coding, and designing them. All of that had to be done, which I can only assume designing took them probably... Well, knowing the rivals, design them actually takes them till almost 2 months until launch, right? Like the rivals didn't actually have a solid design for like most of their existence.
No. Also, I love the art, by the way, because like you watch DRG Historian's video on that, and they see all the concept art, and that's also one of the reasons why I love the art showcase. The artists at Ghost Ship are fucking cracked. I love it. All that concept art is so... all the DRG concept art you can find is also fucking cool. Like, and I think some of the designs they have for the robots were definitely cooler than what we got. I mean, they're still pretty cool, but like, some of it was a lot cooler.
I feel like they obviously... because some of the original designs were still leaning on ancient tech, which is why they were a bit more organic at the beginning.
Yeah, I really like that sort of like shell one. It looked like it had a shell on it. I think
because that probably was the goal, because obviously they wanted it to be clearly not Hoxies in that it's robots, but it's also on Hoxies, so it had to be quasi organic, quasi like robotic, right? And that's why it came up with those cool designs. But obviously with the decision to make it into rivals, they obviously were like, okay, now we can go full on hardcore alien shit, right? Full on clearly not belongs on Hoxies, sci-fi, discolored, like completely like fucking brown burning red or whatever, like sharp, that kind of thing. They could go that way. But they had to come up with the Lithophage and what the Lithophage would look like. Like I think that's part of the process. That's like I can only imagine the amount of. Actually, I think I may have. I saw some art on. I think it was because when I did the video on like the seasonal stuff, I looked at like Betsy. And there is lots of art of what their designs were for Betsy. Like they basically have all of the stages, or not stages, but I guess like experiments with what Betsy would look like. And first of all, it was the actual robot, but then it was what the parasites looked like, and that was like a whole thing. And there was like 10 just in one page, just 10 different types of parasites type layouts and like bulges and like different types of parasites. And that was just for that. And that probably there's a lot more of them that we got to see. But like the amount of iterations I imagine the Lithrophage in all regards went through is likely why, a reason why it took so long. They had to like come up with a design they liked. But fucking with the small meteors, they didn't have to. They didn't have to. Same with the meteorite. They had to come up with it for a while. But small meteor, copy paste, right?
I'm actually looking
Copy
at Betsy
paste.
concept art right now. This is really funny. That's a big gun.
Yeah,
and you see some of the parasites look very lithophage-esque.
Yeah, because in all fairness, the Lithrophage isn't that much different to the suckers, really. But it's only because they kind of, and obviously the parasites don't look that different from the parasites that were already in the game, and the grunt and Praetorian, weirdly enough, look like grunts and Praetorians. But like, so obviously the actual enemies didn't take that much to do, to be honest with you. But the spikes and the meteor, they had to really kind of, I imagine, design.
And that's where I think the time taken for season 3 comes from. It's a combination of like obviously they made effective use of a lot of stuff that was already done, but they were still starting from scratch, and also I think they took a lot of time to figure out the best course of action after robots.
Which is
I don't
my
think
point.
It came about that naturally. That's my point.
Yeah, which is my point that like in the like another thing is obviously they did it upon themselves in that it took them like 3 to 1 week to do Small Meteor, right, which was an event. But also, was it Banishment? I think was that. That's taken him how long? Probably like 2 months, and he has managed to make. He had
his hands on it a little bit before it actually launched. No, he can't. No. I don't think modders have their hands on anything. No, I don't mean like that. I was thinking about the experimental branch, but I don't think modders have any way into stuff that if it's not actually fully launched yet.
So maybe like what is that? 2 months?
Less than 2 months, yeah.
Yeah, and so in less than 2 months, he has made a Lithrophage game mode, right? That's the thing. But it's like, or maybe a small team, whatever they are. We're not sure.
Yeah. It's not perfect though. It's not particularly well refined. It's like
obviously.
No, I know.
But once again, one person to a definite smaller team than Ghost Ship managed to make a game mode in less than 2 months.
He also made a Praetorian for every biome. I don't know if you thought that.
I haven't, but that's pissed me off. The point is,
I think that he did it like with like an algorithm or something. I think he had them randomly generated, but it just worked. I don't know. It was really cool. Like the Crystalline Caverns one had like a crystal on its back, and it like shocked you, like the Tesla thing. Yeah.
And like that, first of all, that's exactly what I want. Just straight up, that's just literally, that is just all, yeah. But my point is that if they stopped deliberately delaying seasons, they could release them a lot quicker, right? Because in all fairness, I can understand how season 3 took them so long, because they had to start again. But if season 4 is a part 2 that is an equal or, God forbid, smaller amount of content, and it takes them just as much time, that is them actively refusing to reuse stuff like that. Like, actually, just straight up, like, not fucking trying it to like be efficient in its like design. Because obviously, when they do it, Small Meteor, it takes them no time at all. Instantaneous content added to the game. But they had to like make new stuff for season 3. So if we go into season 4 and they're still making new stuff, then it's like, come the fuck on. Cut it out. We don't need new mechanics. Like if they decide, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna innovate and level up the sucking mechanic, right? And they redo that would be the kind of dumbass shit that like they might try. Meanwhile, literally just do what management probably did and just copy and paste the Life of Age Outbreak into a game mode, basically. Just do that. We'll get content so much quicker. That's why I'm such a big advocate for part 2s, because I understand that their team is very small and it will take them time to make this kind of stuff. But once they have it, clearly, from what they have demonstrated and what management has demonstrated, once it is in the game and they've done it, they can pump it out a lot quicker. And that wouldn't be too big of a deal, it seems, in the, because Small Meteor, it's just a quick thing. They can just do that. And if they can just quickly pump out a fucking game mode, right? Because if management has made a game mode already, they definitely could have, and then they would have had another 2 to 3 months to refine it. Although once again, as we've kind of, now I think about it, they've shown no starting of season 4, so they probably wouldn't have a game mode by now.
They wouldn't say that we've started working on it. I don't think they'd ever do that.
Yeah, but when would they have, though, right? The first couple weeks, the first month of launch is mainly hot fixes. They added Small Meteor, and they were clearly working on the Christmas update.
I'll say this: I don't think they've started. I don't think they've started modeling or coding anything for season 4 yet. But they might have started planning it.
But they shouldn't have to take 2 months to plan season 4.
Well, I don't think they did, because, and obviously this will circle back to the roadmap thing, but obviously they're working on a lot of stuff post season 3 launch, like just hot fixes, including Small Meteor, and then they go to Christmas as well. And I think when you combine that, I would believe that the main thing, the only thing they can really get done is planning, actually, when it comes to the next season. That makes a certain amount of sense, especially with their...
Yeah. Well, they're probably also working on the cosmetics, I imagine.
As in time, I think they probably would have started. They probably could have started modeling and coding if they weren't having Christmas break. But they are, which is obviously yes. Have break.
Have Christmas off.
You do job, which means you do get break at holiday. Which I would never advocate for them not having holidays.
And once again, in case at any point in time anyone's implying that they're that we're implying their slowness of production is that they should all right. If it turns out that they're fucking, what's the term? When developers spend too much time at their jobs.
Did you forget what crunching is again?
Yes, crunching. If it turns out
we talk about crunching so much.
I don't.
I can't put my finger on it.
Well, I just forgot it at the time, all right? If it turns out that they've been crunching for the entire season, then fuck.
Fuck, yeah, I agree. I don't think they are, though. I don't think they are. Because all I get is impressions that they're very kind to themselves, which is mostly a good thing.
In that they used to crunch a ton,
maybe they
but
used
once
to,
the game released, they cooled off, and that's why their updates are getting slower.
By the way, in that case, if we know that, if they come out and say that'll make things a lot better, by the way.
Yeah, in that case, we would not. I would stop comparing them to their past selves, because clearly their current selves are better in that they're healthier. But I would counter that in saying, so to compensate for your more reasonable hours, hire more people. Clearly,
maybe they can't.
You need more.
You can't just assume that they can, though.
I can, because they have established that they can.
Huh?
On a stream, they are literally if you're qualified, send us your fucking resume, we'll give you a look, right? They have established that they are hiring.
Could have been a joke. Vaguely. How do you know it wasn't?
Because he literally gave them the fucking DM.
Oh.
It was someone asked. I think. Oh, I said it. I don't remember the details because it was just passing by. But they have shown not an aspiration to hire more people, but an acknowledgement that hey, we could, kind of thing. And plus, once again, Harry, at no point in time have they ever come close to showing money being an issue, and that would be the only reason why they wouldn't hire more. Obviously, you kind of want to slowly gain people when you're a small company or dev team. You don't want to suddenly jump the gun and have 50 people join at one time, because that will fuck things up a lot.
Can I put in a word about those ice frameworks? just
Sure.
to clear up, you know, Stalrim armor.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of. Basically, yeah. So if anyone's, that's like, I want that armor basically, but like sort of like
from
modified
Skyrim, right?
to look like
Yeah.
scout or engineers or gunner or driller armor.
Yeah.
That'd be a
pretty
good
much.
DLC.
Yeah. Yeah, and then maybe
Write
lean
that down,
on. Well,
Ghost
actually, anyway. But basically, yeah, I don't know. It's just once again, it's one of those things where I don't want to get dwelled on it. If they just come out and say that, yeah, we're working as hard as we can, but we're just not crunching anymore, or we refuse to crunch, or something like that, then it's like, sure, I can't fuck with that. But I will levy and say that, you know, hire more people then, because your output is not good. It's just not.
I am sort of expecting the next sort of development update or roadmap to have I'm not thinking apology necessarily, but I'm thinking some kind of explanation as to how things are going. Perhaps.
But that's only because we think that they would have that on their mind. But once again, Harry, all lights read green for Ghost Ship, as far as I'm aware. I think best thing they've got is that they may have listened to some of our complaints in our podcast. They maybe listen to it right now, and obviously they can hear our disagreement. I think what's his name, Axis Chronos, showed a distaste towards season so far, or an overall decline in quality.
No, but I'm expecting some kind of update on how they think seasons are going.
Sure, but like, I don't. They should do that, but there is no call for that. No one's asking them to do that. There's no signs that they think they need to start doing that, other than some YouTubers aren't happy with the way the game's going. That's the only red flag I've seen, other than some people that get fucking banned off the platforms. That, you know, I don't know. What was that guy on the Reddit that basically? I mean, he was pretty volatile about the whole situation.
He used words that he didn't need to use. Unfortunately, see, this is the problem, right? This is the problem that some people have, where it's like, yeah, a lot of people do get banned unjustly, like me. But it's like if you're gonna be like try to be a martyr, like levy some criticism at the game, thinking, oh, they're gonna fucking ban me, aren't they? You could at least not like seal your fate. You could at least be polite, right? It's like that's not. You're not actually going to get banned for criticizing the game. That's what I'm saying. Those posts get downvoted, but the reason that guy got all the shit he got, he was being a bit of a bastard. That's why. There's a difference, and it seems like a lot of the time the people who get a lot of shit, they are usually being quite vulgar, and it makes it really difficult to actually see the truth of whether or not people are just like shutting down criticism blindly, or whether it's because those people are always just being assholes. It makes it more difficult. So basically, it just makes things a lot easier if everyone can just be polite. Say whatever like you want, but don't use whatever words you want. There's a difference.
Yeah, but the issue is
use
with
every
like,
word that you can think of, but you can say whatever opinion you have.
But I think when it definitely comes to like the main part, you definitely will, because it's like using violence to get your point across. It invalidates your cause. It's like the online version of doing that. Insulting people to get your point across is defeating your point. Like, even if you were right, if you call the other person a fucking stupid moron, no one's going to want to agree with you. Because
and that's why we don't actually call Ghost Ship bad developers, because they're not.
Because they're not.
But that's why we don't use that language, even if sometimes it would, like, you might expect it from the arguments we're making.
And I might, when I get really heated, but then I will follow it up with, I didn't mean that.
I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. But let's get back to the Christmas cosmetics, because we didn't actually talk about the pickaxe or Bosco.
Right.
Bosco. Bosco.
I think this is something, right? Because obviously I can see the logic behind the hat and the armor, right? It was used for the Yuletide Valor event. But the pickaxe and Bosco, that was them getting swept away. That was them not being able to stop themselves. I do believe.
Yeah, but the Bosco, right? There's never going to be another Bosco, like another holiday Bosco, obviously. No.
I disagree with that.
Christmas Bosco.
Christmas Bosco, sure, but I could honestly, honest to God, of anything that they added extra, I still expect headgears. Of all of them, other than including pickaxe and armor set, I could expect a holiday Bosco more than anything. I don't want one, but I would not be surprised if we get like a Chinese New Year Bosco where he's wearing like the hat and he's got like lanterns or some shit.
Yeah. Lantern.
Where an Easter Bosco and he's like he's an egg. Yeah,
that's
he's got
fine.
like.
I mean, but the thing is, they're never gonna do more than one of the same holiday Bosco. So
Sure,
I'm not worried about that. There's not going to be another Christmas Bosco. Like, what would that even be? Turn him into a Christmas tree? Like, shit, don't do that. Don't write that down. I wouldn't mind the gingerbread, actually. Gingerbread skin.
Exactly. Point is, yeah, I could honestly see Bosco as being a likely weird new thing they could start doing because of how easy it would be.
I like Bosco cosmetics. They're all good.
Yeah.
There are, however, still some in the game that they haven't used. Like Haxie. Right there.
Haxie is weird though, isn't he? Like he's like wider than Bosco.
Yeah, it's a pretty distinct model. He's got like the wide bottom with his fans.
He's got the RGB lighting. Like if you notice, he has like rainbow lighting coming out of the fans.
And that's why I think they haven't done it, because he's actually an original model. I don't think it's actually built on top of Bosco.
Yeah, no, I think it's unique. Which I didn't realize how different they did look. I thought it was literally just a Bosco model.
Then, like, Barrel Bosco is pretty much entirely different. But
yeah.
But then also like the skin, like the Haxie's. But
Lloyd skin.
Lloyd skin and the Medbot. I mean the whole thing, the Lloyd thing. Give us that, just the whole thing, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Or the little hat and the bow tie. That's awesome.
Yeah, for like an anniversary.
That's amazing. Like, put that in the anniversary. That's awesome.
And
that's
the dwarves,
and the
dwarves get suits.
That's not a bad DLC either, though, because I want to see like I like the idea of seeing a DLC that doesn't necessarily add a framework or an armor, but add some really, really high end paint jobs and some like
when they add
full pickaxe sets.
When they add infinite promotions and or bunch of new promotion tiers and or however they go about doing that, the thing that they definitely will do for sure, definitely. When they do that, the season's going to be called higher class because your classes will be able to get higher, and then there'll be tuxes and suits and that, and it will be fucking amazing.
Fucking pioneer.
And like the guns will be like really fancy. Like they'll have like, I don't know, like they just look fancy, like chandelier kind of over curved stuff, if you know what I mean. Like
Art Deco.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. Point is, you're welcome, Ghost Ship. I came up with another fucking season for you. Maybe you start doing some. And that won't be your whatever the next one is.
That's a good one. Higher class. I like that.
Yeah.
Put the guns in tuxes.
Yeah, or just high class. I don't know. Point is, I think the Bosco is fine, but it's once again it's a Bosco skin. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a Bosco skin. Only solo people are ever going to see it, and only if they equip it. It's not going to really change the game in its edition.
I think they need to incorporate Bosco in some other way.
I think a Bosco like like a game mode that is guided by not Bosco but someone that is clearly just like Lloyd Bosco kind of thing, like where you go into a cave and you have to like follow a Bosco drone around the cave and like find stuff,
or a mission that allows you to call in a temporary Bosco or something. Because then it would be your Bosco. That's what I mean, because the cosmetics need to get in there. Otherwise, it's not much point, actually. It's not... if you can't see your Bosco stuff.
Well, problem is, though, hey, is I've just came up with a whole new fucking game mode. So tough. Basically, you go through like a pretty linear cave, and you have to bring the Bosco with you and protect him, and he'll point you in like directions in walls where you would never be able to find them if it wasn't for Bosco, like pointing you towards it.
A mission that's just so damn dangerous that everyone gets their Bosco, or an anomaly where everyone gets their Bosco.
I think an anomaly would definitely suit it, but like maybe not everyone gets a Bosco, but like they just deal with the the Molly situation, and they just do client-side Bosco skin, and there's just a Bosco between the team. Something like that.
Mm.
Point is it's alright. As far as Bosco skins go, it's another slapper, another up there cool looking fella. Well, he's not actually a cool looking fella.
Well, no, because it's probably the worst one.
Would you say that?
Yeah, because it's just Christmas themed. Like, for example, I really like the season 3 one actually. Blisterbot, he looks way cooler than he does in that little icon, that little picture.
On a serious note, though, Bosco looks cooler than like most things in the game. Like on average, they make Bosco go so much harder than other things in the game. Like he's got the fucking Berserker paint job. He's got like the ninja one, the soldier one.
Well, the Berserker thing is like, I guess that is meant to be like the Robot Rebellion, but it's not quite. I'd rather have. I wish Robot Rebellion was a bit more like that, a bit more barbarian rather than like Scrapyard, because that's what it is on Bosco. It's called barbaric, but it's meant to be sort of like Robot Rebellion adjacent. And the same thing actually for the new one. Although I do really like the biohazard armor, but like Blisterbot is much more.
Is he infected?
He's a bit infected, but he's also quite scary looking. He's got like a mouth. He's got like a grate over his mouth, and he's like.
It seems like they do the better thought out design for Bosco, right? They're like, okay, we'll do like a biohazard look for the dwarves, and they call it a day. And then the person who has to do Bosco is like, yeah, but wouldn't it be cooler if it also is slightly infected? And they do that. Like, they do that, and it's like
he's got like the Cyber Ninja like framework, and the War Veteran ones. That's quite old, but like that, like Cyber Ninja would be a cool armor, and then like, but the War Veteran one, that style of armor could be like the mil-spec adjacent armor.
Yeah, basically, I think whoever is on Bosco duty, which if it's an individual person, you are doing the best job, I would say. Whoever decides Bosco, on average, you're better than all the other designers.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
I'm sorry, make me take it back.
Bosco's pretty much like I can't point out a single thing wrong with those cosmetics.
Yeah, just fire upon fire.
Like for example, like the Blisterbot one, like the actual infected parts, like I think they should be the actual Rockbox color. But you have other like he's got like organic looking like claws, but you can still change the color of them, and they've got infected parts on them, and it just looks really cool. It's like this
Bosco is drippy beyond dwarves and guns. They're just he just doesn't miss.
I get that. Bosco headgear.
Yeah, but
not speaking of anything, I was just thinking about the Steam Awards.
Well, we got pickaxe left.
Oh yeah, the pickaxe, and we've gone to Steam Awards. Peacocks.
I would say.
Do you think they got carried? This is one of the ones they got carried away on because they did add a full pickaxe set.
Yeah, I just think there is no good reason to add Bosco and pickaxe. Like it did not. There was no reason, right? Because as mentioned, I think the armor and the hat kind of came with the thing, and they did the 2 helmets like normal, right? Like it's. I feel like but the pickaxe and the Bosco.
The pickaxe is genuinely really good.
It's the best thing to come out of it by far.
The best seasonal cosmetic ever.
Yeah,
It's probably,
it is absolutely fucking fire. And
well, it's not fire, is it? It's icy. It's ice.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, which is I think actually works the same way. You know, ice means drip. Like swag.
Yeah.
Swag.
Yeah, because it's icy as hell.
It's just a great idea. I mean, it's an ice pick, you know? And it's one of the best back blades.
There was already an ice pick in the game.
It makes me wish for, the interchangeable... That back blades weren't actually a thing. But it's still the best one. Like, that's a proper ice axe. I think that's really fucking cool. And that obviously makes me want, obviously I don't believe in grenade cosmetics, but, if you're, impact axes were, ice axes, that would be pretty cool, But if I don't to be added.
But obviously, as a symptom of being a color locked cosmetic,
but
which is obviously something we're pretty anti.
Things ever.
But it's just we're just against locking bad colors.
Yeah,
right?
if you design
Like, 'cause
something
we can
really
compare it.
cool that like requires that, like Dawn of the Dread was kind of meant to be that, where it's like it needs to look that way, but it would have been, but because it wasn't quite, it was not actually that great. It would be improved if
Oh,
you could change the
Dawn of the
colors.
Dread.
But that ice texture is so nice.
Dawn of the Dread. Is it even Dreadnought colored? I thought Dreadnoughts were
Not
like darker.
really. It's not really
Exactly.
Dreadnought colored. That's the
They
thing, and it's
they
also
didn't
not the
even
same
get it
color as
right.
Glyphid Trophy Hunter either.
Yeah, because Glyphid Trophy Hunter is like grunt color, which is not a good color.
Yeah,
To be honest with you, it's a pretty bad color.
it looks like
Like, I
poo.
honestly, I think a Glyphid Trophy Hunter fucking thing could be due. I mean, it is dated as hell, and it just is.
You
I
think
mean,
that's
it
the
was
most
bad to
dated
begin with.
framework? You're probably right.
I, f-
It's
yeah, I
pretty,
think it was like,
pretty ugly, glarish, forced color like mesh
yeah.
pieces. You know?
It's only merit previously. It was probably the most like kind of radical change like one of the biggest, most radical ones, other than like, or it's tied to like Neon Band and
But
stuff like
you
that,
have like
right?
neon, like well,
Yeah.
actually not neon band. Like Fourth Relic has like forced color pieces, but they're not as like garish or as shape changing, and they also look very nice. All right, Titus mute. Hello.
Yeah, well, I mute myself on purpose. So yeah.
Yeah, but I actually don't know. I don't know what to say now. What are we talking about? Oh yeah,
I
just
remember.
the Trophy Hunter and how it's kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's really the only bad framework, though, if I'm being honest. Like custom engineered is like a bit hit and miss. I really don't like it on the Hurricane. It's got like pretty garish like wires and stuff. But really, Glyphid Trophy Hunter feels a little bit awful.
Yeah.
Pull that out. Then they
Yeah.
kind of did like the pickaxe one, Bug Hide, But that's not.
Yeah,
That doesn't match
which I
with
think
anything.
you compare the glacial, new fucking ice pick to the bug hide, and boom,
Night and
right?
day.
Locked colors done wrong, locked colors done right, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point because I don't think we've ever said that forced colors can work, and I guess we haven't said it because they haven't worked up until now.
Well, I
This is
feel
really
like
the first. This is the best
there are some
example, at least.
examples.
This is easily the best example.
It's just that, like, with the recent ones in the season passes, they've been locking them to some seriously bad colors. Obviously they kind of changed it with like the really skin tight bandana one that was like a white and black blotchy thing, right? Like, wasn't that it? And it was like,
Balaclava.
who in God's name's going to use that? Which is clearly something they recognized in that they changed it so you could have a alternate version.
Yeah, that's actually really good. The fact that they added it separately as well.
Yeah,
Which
but
they
I
should do
don't
for
get.
all of them, really.
I don't get why they stopped there.
Yeah, that's a bit weird because that feels.
Other face covering cloth thing that they had could definitely have done with it, like the really large green one.
It definitely lends itself a bit to that problem of them making more exceptions than actual useful changes. It's like yeah, they did it with the beards a little bit because obviously it started with the industrial face mask, but it didn't change that much. They haven't really done another one.
Yeah, because
That's
obviously
quite like that because you also have the Scorpion
industrial
mask, which is another one that's like that but is forced colors.
Yeah, and well, there's now a new one in there. There's the like mask.
Yeah,
like
but that also wasn't necessarily a
mask.
colors thing. That was just putting them in the beard slot.
Yeah, which I think, obviously, once again, if we want to, I want to quickly tie it to realistically, they should have just made a new area in the cosmetics menu called like face masks, and then they started filling that one up, and then job done. That would have been its own category. But no, now we have things in beards that are not even beards.
Now, you see, you're right, but in this context, it works because you're never going to have a beard as well as one of those.
No, but you don't. You put on a headgear and you don't have anything on the right side of your screen sometimes. Things cancel each other out. That's part of the cosmetics.
And that's why that stupid little bandana they added this season feels like them seeing if the community would like be like, oh, can we get this as like just a bandana? Like, as in, can we have our hair and this bandana? I feel like they're almost waiting for people to bring that up, but no one is. They like sort of put it in as like a stupid thing that just forces you to just not have any hair, but it's just
And it's the worst locked color I've seen in my entire life. Like,
yeah. It feels like them
stripy
trying to spark
purple and
another
black.
industrial face mask thing, but it feels like them trying to do it, so it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it's
they're
because
just waiting to
it's
see if
not
people react
significant
to it.
enough.
No,
People just saw the potential that industrial face mask had, but that bandana, even if it gets its own category, has no potential because it's a
it would
shitty
also
force lock
have
color.
to be a new category
Yeah.
because you couldn't put that in headgear. Because it feels like they're waiting for people to be like, "Oh, can we have this as well as our hair?" But it's just like, where would you put it? Like eyebrows?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would say that bandana would only be usable if it's lowered to like your eyes and it covers your eyes and you go like blind or some shit.
I mean, a blindfold isn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
Why
Point
don't we have that yet?
is that there is fuck. I mean, I did a video on it. Right? I was about to say I need to do a video on it. I did a video on it on how like how much potential the customization has. But yeah, I mean, I think that's basically the customizations that they added with the new not Halloween, fucking hell, Christmas stuff.
I know you do it a lot, and this isn't specific to you, but I really just can't comprehend getting things mixed up like that. I just don't do it. I just don't get things mixed up. I don't always
just said
remember
the wrong word.
That's getting it mixed up.
Yeah, but I didn't think about it getting mixed up.
No, I don't think anyone ever does. That's not what I'm saying. And sometimes I forget what something is, but I don't think I ever call things something they're not. It just doesn't happen for me.
Well, you called me ugly, actually, so clearly.
Well, exactly.
You have...
See, point still stands firm.
Stronger than ever.
Anyway, Steam Awards. Not that there's much to say. They got nominated, but it goes as far as that for now. And I believe
there
it's
is
been the
something
same
we're
before.
missing, by the way. But I'll let you talk.
I did the toilet. Well, there's not much to say.
Right. Then
there's no Steam post about it, so you can't really call it news. But they are nominated, and I assume that will come up soon.
That was all they expected of us, right? Like it's similar what it was like last year.
I think it is the nomination
that promise something.
No.
So
which is fine by me.
Anything. Yeah.
Fine by me. Oh, it does mention the plague, the concurrent plague.
Is it
count
really
record.
fine though? Because last time they did this, we actually got like the Viking headgear, which is like really one of the most requested headgears. And it would have been nice if, like, every year, if we met a certain criteria to help the game,
we don't know
got
yet.
The most requested headgear.
What is the most requested headgear?
I don't know. Fucking
Crusader helmet. I don't know. I don't see. Yeah. See, I don't. How have we not got that yet? But I don't see people like a specific like unanimously requested headgear. Actually, unless I'm forgetting something.
Probably are.
Oh yeah, definitely are.
I mean, the plague mask needs an actual fedora.
To be fair, I think the plague mask was pretty up there though in terms of something that people wanted. It definitely needs a fedora though, as an alternate version of it. By the way,
yeah,
get on that. They need to do that. Put it in the store next season or something.
Right, basically, GoShip, you make a fedora model, you put it on that, so then there's a plague mask. There's a plague mask with fedora, and then there's just a fedora. So that's,
we also get the fedora. Yeah.
Job done. Efficiency. Good cosmetics.
Or better idea. Make the mask category, and then make a fedora, and you can just combine them without having to make it its own thing. You can have any hat you want on top of the plague mask.
Yeah. Basically,
isn't that genius?
Just fucking sort out your fucking half-assed.
It's not even like that would definitely line up with something that would like help them, even with the current direction they're going. Because if they're just going to keep adding loads and loads of cosmetics, this was born out of that. This isn't like a problem with the seasonal model. This is something that would help it directly. It was born out of there just being more cosmetics. Anyway, what was that thing?
What thing that we haven't talked about?
Yeah.
The Yuletide elf.
Oh yeah, hold on. We'll get to that. Go for a piss. Why did you talk so much?
Yeah, Yuletide
That's
fellas.
that's so like stupid. The elf
Shut up.
himself.
Elf, the self him elf.
That sounded weird.
He's a little fella, short and stout.
Here is
He
my handle.
is
Here is my spout.
yeah. Oh, there is his imminent death,
Oh my god.
which I think it's I don't know. It's cool because I can only assume a lot of things. They probably I don't know. It's just so much, but obviously none of it's really worth anything. But it's still a lot.
What?
This is a horizontal, two-legged enemy foe
Would you call him
target.
an enemy? Yeah, target. Absolutely. I
Something
wouldn't.
you
I
are.
think you could even call him an enemy in like the game, like technical game sense. He's not a
Yeah,
foe.
you are tasked
He's not a
with
villain.
killing, which is actually kind of something that I don't actually remember the exact reasoning, but obviously they didn't want to do anything bipedal because you're bipedal, and then it would kind of break
Yes, I am.
the thing where it's like these are
Feathers,
aliens and you can
biped.
just kill them. They're
This is
like
a
nothing
man.
like us. But this holiday event has got us killing literally just smaller versions of us that are
Yeah,
technically apparently a robot, but like they're also kind of alive.
but also
It
not
seems.
meant to be moving.
Got like fucking Pinocchio syndrome going down where they're
So
running
yeah, I don't
around.
think actually killing them. I think that's just the dwarves not really knowing what else to do because it's not meant to be moving. So it's like, okay, we need to stop it.
So we
That's why it
just
doesn't
and the only
explode
thing we
into
can
guts
think of
or
is
it
just
doesn't
shoot
get
it.
destroyed, does it? So you're not really killing it. You're like disabling it, I guess. You're just stopping it.
Still, you are shooting
yes.
at a humanoid, which is something they
I
have
don't
shown.
think it's a humanoid if it's not organic.
Harry, are you dumb as fuck, or are you just pretending to be?
What? I guess I'm pretending to be. What?
Humanoid looks like human. That's
But I
all
think
that
it has to
really
be.
is.
I think it has to be a creature. That's where the
No,
oid part
it
comes
just
in.
has to look human. Humanoid. I see oid as ish. Human-ish. It's just humanoid. It's a little fella. He's a little guy scampering around. It's a person, a small person. Pinocchio. We're shooting Pinocchio. Would you say Pinocchio is a humanoid?
He is humanoid. He's not a humanoid.
Yeah.
No, I looked up. There's a difference. The adjective and then its use in sort of like science fiction. Like a lot of things are humanoid, but a humanoid is usually a being. So yeah, the elf is humanoid, but he's an elf, but who looks like a dwarf, but isn't a real elf because it's a toy.
Point is they drew a line in the past or present or whatever, and this is saying that they don't want to do humanoid enemies because it wouldn't really fit. First of all, it would look weird, which credit where credit's due, kind of does. Like the little running around looks goofy as hell because it doesn't really the cycle doesn't really match his speed
runs on
most
the
of the
ceiling.
time. Yeah, like
I paid much attention to his feet actually. I'm not weird.
Well, I cause shush. Point is I was looking at it because I'm like, do they have a point? And I think they do. In all fairness, like if they tried actually making like a menacing enemy, like an orc or like a goblin that's like running around, they would end up looking a lot more goofy than not.
I think what it is that it'll be. I'm not. I think it's actually more about it'll be just very complicated to stop them from running up the walls. You know, because of the way terrain and enemy pathfinding is done. I think they basically can't.
Maybe
It wouldn't make sense to like. It'd be very hard for it to make sense to the enemy AI for them to not be able to go up walls.
Where the floor is, because I think I keep thinking about trawlers and coronas, and I'm like, they don't roll up the walls like they think it's a floor.
No,
but I think
you're
it's
right,
more.
Actually, but the corona still crawls up the wall.
Yeah, I think it's more that they have like a set horizontal ability to it. Like I think they, like they can't roll up something that's straight for. Sometimes they can, to be honest with you.
The horizontalization of the Kieran Shellback is
Yeah,
going down
I
in
think
history
they
books.
have to kind of the game has to kind of tell them like maybe like a humanoid enemy would have to be limited to like a certain degree of plane to stand on. Like they're not allowed to go up anything 90 degrees or like go up any like horizontal stuff. No, only horizontal, no vertical. And that would be like a degree thing where their model can't be turned that much, or they'd have to like jump.
I'm getting turned.
Some shit like that.
Yeah, they probably
Point
can't
is-
jump. I want to see him jump because if he jumped, would he just fall, or would he like? Is he magnetized to the ceiling? I don't know.
What is yeah, the Yuletide Elf is a little experiment, I think, in seeing whether or
Yeah.
not they can get rid of a humanoid. I'm not sure if that means they've already broken the rule, where they're experimenting whether or not the
No,
rule was a good idea.
I don't think it does because it's
or
not.
they
It's
just
also not
actually-
permanent, is it? It's
or
weird.
they
It's
just
definitely experiment.
They just didn't care. And they were just like, oh, we'll add this because we want to add a little elf, and they didn't really care about the fact that they tended to not.
I respect that.
It seems like all of their quotation marked rules are more.
Like the actual rules.
Yeah. They're more guidelines.
I mean, the
think
rules that they follow are the stupid ones. Though.
Well, the rules. The thing is, the Ghost Ship. They know the rules that they know they have are guidelines, but the rules that they haven't realized they've locked themselves into are ironclad. Like they just haven't thought about adding a new.
That's because they're not rules; they're
mutator.
restrictions.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure they know the restrictions that they put on themselves.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But yeah, fucking. I don't know.
Mute.
I'm on mute.
No, I was trying to mute my telly.
Oh,
The telly box.
the telly.
The telly.
Oh, the fucking people are going for your telly
telly.
license.
Oh fuck, that was a dream, wasn't it? I thought I was playing Titanfall the other day. That was a dream. That was. Damn it!
Loser.
God damn it! I remembered. I had a memory just cropped up. I was like, hold on. Very recently, I was actually playing Titanfall 2 multiplayer, and I realised just now that was a dream.
Damn.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there isn't actually much to the event. It's the same as the mug, but now he actually moves. I'd argue he has too much health, but it's still not that bad.
I want to see the mug running around. You think he's got too much health?
I do. I think he should
Yeah.
only be like a festive fleet.
It's weird because I disagree, but I don't see why he should be a bullet sponge either.
Yeah.
No, I don't see why really.
He's a little fucking porcelain
I don't see
doll.
why not either. I don't mind dumping ammo into it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, but I would argue he is. Whether or not it was a choice on purpose, he is a lot more annoying than the mug, obviously. But like, he's very annoying of an enemy. He is a very small hitbox for the amount of health he has. Like, if there was to be like a graph scale, like he would be on like the high end of body to health ratio. Like, some very small size, but a lot of health. Like Swarmer flea sized, like fucking menace, Praetorian health. Like I'm not sure. Yeah, it probably is about that, right?
Maybe we have the numbers. I don't know.
Doubt it. And that's another thing. I think they should add a holiday segment to the bestiary for enemies like this, just for convenience sake. In the like,
or enemies like this. Only one.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah and no. I just want them to add like a holiday section where it has like the Oktoberfest mug and like the
what doesn't have a bestiary entry?
The things I just said. Anything to do with
apart from the mug.
The Halloween stuff.
What Halloween stuff?
No, I meant just holiday. I mean, the Halloween pumpkins don't really get brought up.
That's because they don't really exist. That's why.
Exactly. That's why I think they should have in the bestiary, or not bestiary, the fucking just a miner's manual. They should have a holiday section that goes through the holidays of April.
Like what?
I don't know.
No, you don't.
Shut the fuck up. Leave it alone. I moved on from that, Harry.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have. I moved on from that individual example because I didn't like it, so I moved on.
No, pumpkins. Explain.
Sure, but this will come in the miner's manual area, which has holiday stuff, and then in that holiday section, there will be a guide to each holiday event.
To give some more on why the dwarves, why Deep Rock celebrates those holidays or something.
When Halloween comes around, when Spooky Land, these pumpkins begin to appear in caves, and stuff like that, and it just kind of talks about that, and especially if these events start getting a bit big, a bit bountiful in the things you need to do in there. It could have Oktoberfest. You get a beer in the hub, and when you have to find the cup in the cave, and then it can also track that as well. If these are going to be repeatable things, which to be honest, I've kind of abandoned the fact that they couldn't be, because if they abandon the fact that time is actually passing in the Deep Rock universe, which obviously kind of is due to seasons, they could reuse
due
it.
To the anniversaries alone, it's because they represent actually in universe how long they've been working on Hoxies.
Yeah.
So we know time passes.
Yeah, but because I don't know if it's just, I don't know, because maybe if they did just concrete them, put them in the miner's manual, then they have to do it the same thing every year. That would also hold them to that.
Yeah, because if they put the elf in the miner's manual, it's it can't be there and never come back, because then people won't be able to get that entry.
Yeah, and then maybe if they feel like it, they could add another one that would alternate. Sometimes you get the elf, sometimes you could get
every other year.
No, I mean they'd add one a year, and then they'd just alternate in that year. But they shouldn't do that. But if they feel like it so much, but if they write down in scripture that Halloween means Yuletide elf.
If they had some kind of explanation, it's just a cosmic prankster who every time the Freighter comes along, he just sabotages it.
Yeah, sure. Or just I don't know,
a jester, poltergeist, a spooky ghost man, ghost Glyphids. Actually, that's the thing. Haunted Cave was added on Halloween. No, it wasn't. I'm misremembering, or am I remembering that time when they made it more common on Halloween?
What do you mean?
Something to do with haunted caves and Halloween.
I don't think that was everything.
I did. Something was.
Maybe they added it on that.
No, they didn't add it then. It's been around for a while.
No.
Hello.
All right. Are we done?
Hello.
Is this the Christmas special? Have we just summarized Christmas as a whole?
What is Christmas as a whole?
Everything we just said. Christmas as a whole is Yuletide elf. Other things.
Ice pick. Snowballs.
Yeah. Snowballs and other stuff.
Dreadnought.
They didn't do a beer, which I think is worth noting. They didn't do a beer, which makes me think that maybe a holiday beer. Well, they added a holiday beer section though, right? That was a thing to the fucking bar.
Yeah, but it's not a permanent section because
obviously. But the fact they added it, they put in that amount of effort. They could have just made it a special beer, or they put it in the normal beer category with Glyphid Slammers and that, and just say that it's limited time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they wanted to put that there in case. Well, I think they're fairly intent on doing more of those. I don't know, it's guaranteed.
Yeah, but instead of, I don't know, maybe I guess they got so carried away that they couldn't even add the beer that they wanted to. But once again, actually, they didn't actually really. Well, we got the answer on this. We got the answer to this on the stream, didn't we?
Lord, they would pick that up. You just went, wow.
They wanted to add a beer, but they couldn't actually think of one. I remember that was the whole thing.
Did they say that? I feel like I don't.
Yeah, in our stream,
that they couldn't think of one. I don't remember that wording being
Dreadnought, and then he was like, "Nah, it's got to be more alcoholic." and then he came up with like some alcoholic wine thing that only they really have, or their name for it. Do you remember?
I don't remember them saying we didn't come up with one. I don't remember that. I remember the wine thing.
Yeah, point is that well, obviously, yeah, they said that basically, like, we would like to, but we don't really know. That's
Ugh, bit gross. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't.
Well, they said it fucking there and then, so I don't know what took you so long.
Fills me with dread.
Oh.
Nog. Oh my god. Yeah, let's be honest with ourselves. We're done here.
Yeah.
You know, we did it. I think that was a pretty good blend of actually getting a good amount of mileage out of the Christmas event itself, while also doing our usual scheduled ribbing. Yeah. Well done. Go us.
Yay! All right.
Yeah, that means we've got to wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Like a Christmas present.
Yeah.
Go on, do your thing.
Let's put a bar on top of this thing. Yeah, thank you all for watching. This was I would say, not as negative as normal podcast. Obviously, it wasn't entirely positive either.
Santa!
Can't deny that. But
he's outside the space rig.
Santa is outside the space rig. That was cool. I'm glad they did that. They obviously once again went 120% on decorations. They put hats on literally everything, other than the Boscos, which I have a theory that they just couldn't. But
they just couldn't.
Well, they put fucking hats on even the vials, but I don't know.
But it doesn't have to be on it. It could just be if the Bosco models don't work like that. It could just be a floating hat that's on the Bosco model. It doesn't have to be a part of him.
But they didn't for some reason.
No.
So, I don't know. Thank you all for watching.
I'm going to see Avatar today night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for you.
I don't.
I do.
Why?
Because screw Avatar. Overrated ass shit.
It's actually really. How is it overrated? Everyone always says that. Just like
Go on.
No.
What is it?
How is it overrated? Because it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's not a rating. That's not a rating.
Sure it is.
That's not opinion. That's just it was just a juggernaut for
It
basically no
is
reason.
an opinion though. being the most like the movie that made the most money in the world is an opinion in that the world liked this movie the most. That's what that says.
I mean, it
obviously
it would be weird if it didn't make a lot of money. That doesn't look like a movie that should be
fucking mid.
It doesn't look like it's not a movie that you watch it. It's like this couldn't have ever gone under the radar. It just couldn't have. It was too big of just a
too much
idea.
Money was pumped into it.
Yes, exactly.
Doesn't make it good.
It is good.
It's not. It's mid.
Some things are good while being mid.
And Avatar is not one of those. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Oh my god.
Mummy and Daddy are gonna go fight now.
What?
Not in front of you children.
We don't do that though.
Yeah, we'll just block each other until we next record a video.
Don't do that either.
No, don't need to. You just don't join the party. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you for watching. We'll see you probably tomorrow on a stream, right? Likely, right? That's right. That's
Nick.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Goodbye. Leave now.
We didn't say anything like and subscribe.
Well, you could have said that.
Well, I've done it now.
Good. Now leave.